Hello everyone and welcome back. It's 2025 now. We took a little break for the holiday season and just to take a break from all the recording and editing in general. We've been at it for 3 years now. We've not missed a week, so excuse our gap, but we just needed to take a little break from recording. But we're back now, and I've got the head gasket that I've ordered. Now this is part of another reason why we've been delayed, waiting for this new head gasket to come in. It's an actual Kubota part, which is great. I thought it was going to be a knockoff. It's a Phasor generator, but it uses a Kubota diesel engine. So we got that head gasket now, and I'm going to start the process of putting this all back together. I've taken the liberty of using some, I think it was 2000 grit sandpaper, and I just gave a little bit of a polish inside this cylinder to make sure that the cylinder wall is smooth, and it feels very smooth. I don't feel any kind of indifference in there, so I think we're going to be fine as long as my piston rings are fine. So from here, I'm going to just start reassembling all the parts and getting things connected back up. I'm not sure exactly the process I'm going to do for running it, but what I think I'm going to do at this time is get it all running and put some light oil in it, like a 10W30, and run it like that just for a short period, just to try to rinse out the inside of the engine a bit more, because obviously I can't get directly in there without completely disassembling everything. So I've cleaned out everything I can inside of it. Now I'd like to be able to run it with something light and less expensive just to get it more cleaned out. But for now, we're just going to assemble this. All right, we're back. I got these just lightly snugged up just to keep the gasket there in place and aligned. And I borrowed this torque wrench so I can torque this down. Now, the best information I can find online about this is it's 68 to 72 pounds, and another area online I found it said 70 pounds. So 70 being right in the middle of that, that's what I'm going to torque this to. Nothing specific about this exact model, but it seems to be for all Kubota engines because they don't give actual models. What I'm going to do, I set this torque wrench, this is going to 70, so I'm going to set it to 30 and do a star pattern, and then I'm going to set it to 60 pounds and do the star pattern again, and then I'm going to top it up at 70 pounds and do the star pattern again to make sure that it evenly gets pulled in all the way around. Alright, just loosened it and rotated it, get it out of the way. That should be all. I'm going to set this now to 60. Turning this up until the 1 lines up with the 6. Tiny little mark down there, so I'm just marking the 0, lining up with that. Not exactly sure why there's half numbers going around both ways for tenths. I guess for each 10 pounds there's half a turn for 5 more pounds. 60 pounds is a lot more. Alright, so now I got this torqued down to 70 pounds, and I'm just going to go through trying to reverse everything that I did before and start reassembling all of these parts. So we're going to watch that quickly because nobody wants to sit around for a couple of hours watching me just putting engine parts on. So listen to some music instead of me. Putting on the air intake now. This little piece here, if you can see that, fits in between this bracket and the block. I have to actually pull this bolt out, slide that through, and then get the washer back on. That's gonna be pretty challenging, but I'll do my best here to record that for you. So my struggles right now are this bracket is attached to the air intake, which has 3 bolts. One bolt goes through the bracket with a spacer and then a washer and then into the head. That washer was very, very hard to get in there. I was hoping to use a magnet and like lower it down from the top while I pushed the bolt through, but yeah, it's not magnetic. I guess it's stainless steel. I got the washer in place now. I'm just trying to get it all aligned in order to get the screws started, and then we can move on to the next step here. Alright, just an unfortunate update. I had all my stuff written in baggies so that I wouldn't lose any parts. As I was going through my baggies, making sure everything was empty and installed, I came across this baggie that looked like it was empty and held it up to the light and saw that little O-ring on it. And luckily I wrote on there, head O-ring. The very unfortunate part is that goes on before this whole cylinder head. So I am removing now everything I spent the last day and a half doing to get that tiny little washer on. Thank God I made a note of that. If I just threw that little washer in a box with all of the hardware, I 100% would have missed that and not even known where it went. Just about done removing. I'm going to try and take off as little as possible. I'm just going to loosen everything off, hoping that I can just ease this back a bit, slip that on there, and then bolt things back together. I've already been at this for a long time, so I don't want to try to find somewhere to mount the camera just to show you that, but I wanted to update you in case you are doing this. Make sure that you get that little O-ring in place. All right, I got it put back together now after missing that oil seal or the O-ring, which is really unfortunate because that was really the very first thing I should have put on and I just didn't see it. It was a tiny little nipple, I'll show you in the picture, between the head and the block of the motor. I guess it's easy to miss because it's so small and it was in a baggie all by itself at the bottom of my pile of baggies. But over and done with now, I was able to get that back on without removing the air intake. The air intake was very difficult because of the trying to get your fingers around those screws. I was able to loosen it off enough to fit that in there, and I put it back together. I'm kind of where we left off the last time. What I've got next here is the exhaust manifold. So I just put my gasket on here, get an exhaust pipe on here. I know that one screw here, the bolt right here, is very difficult, but I guess I can do that one. I'll get them started first. One question I have for you listeners, hopefully somebody can answer this, but I don't know why I had this problem to begin with. I don't know how salt water got into this engine. This engine's not brand new. I'm sure it's been here for a minute. I know it happened while we did a downwind sail. So the boat's rocking back and forth a lot and the waves are coming from behind you. But I'm sure that's not the first time this boat's been through that scenario. So why would salt water get back through here and into the engine? Now this is the mixer right here, if you can see that. The heated water from the heat exchanger goes into the top here on an angle with the exhaust coming here, and it mixes here and comes out. And this is a fairly high up, but this is how it's always been. I've never changed anything. So why at this point in the life of this engine did I suddenly get salt water in there? So if anybody has any ideas, I haven't seen any check valves. I've looked for one. I have to remove some stuff to see very thoroughly, like to be 100% sure of that. I don't think it's a faulty check valve because I don't think it ever had one. It's using a high point above the water line here for the exhaust. And it's higher than the exhaust. What I'm clamping the camera to is the exhaust loop from our main engine, and it actually goes higher than that. So if water came in one that way, it would have come in also to our main engine. So if anybody's got any ideas of where I can look for that, I'm not too sure. I'm gonna tackle that before we leave Looperon. I'm gonna want an answer to that. Right now, I just want to get this thing running again. And this is how putting every nut, bolt, and screw on is working on an engine in a boat. There's nothing really that's easy to reach. You're always reaching in through a cabinet door. You could either get your two hands and not your eyes, or your eyes in one hand. But it's not too often that you can get two hands and your eyes on something, because everything is just too awkward. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next week.